The base
hello.
lords, it's your main meme master, Drew Bookman. What's Gucci?
Welcome, everybody, to the
Yep,
Drew Bookman Show.
yep.
Uh, Today we have legendary old player Monaxide,
Ooh,
who has reemerged
I'm not dead, I swear.
reemerged from the gender
from
reveal operation.
from his gender reveal wildfire operation. It was a success.
Base down
We
pizza,
also have DocSmurf on.
So,
who is very cringe.
Second go around, and same with Joey Coconut. He's here too. Second go around. Should be interesting having all you guys in here for a second time. You know, ideas colliding, opinions and whatnot. So I'll just hop right into it. When and where did you guys find 2B2T? I guess we can just go down the list. We'll start with Doc.
It's a packet, dude. Skip him.
I love you too, man. Essentially, I'll keep it short. I
He's
used
a
to
Redditor.
fucking admin a server a long time ago, and things went south, and I didn't really have anywhere to go. All the Minecraft servers sucked. They're all like economy BS, and I wanted a place I could just do whatever I wanted to. And IGN put out this article, 6 amazing things to do in Minecraft, and the 2B2T spawn zone was featured there. And I thought that the idea sounded kind of cool, so I joined up and I stuck around, and the rest is history. Been here since early 2013.
Joey, what about you?
One of my buddies, it was a regular 4chan browser. I had nothing to do with the site. I was just some average player, and he brought me on the server. Really nothing much more than that, I was just secondhand from 4chan, I didn't know anything about this place. He had talked it up quite a lot, and I was pretty fascinated just by the sheer unbridled autism of the place. It's I'm sure your viewers understand kind of special spot they've got here.
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely has its own distinct footprint in the Minecraft community as being something completely different in terms of gameplay. Monoxide, what about you?
Can you repeat the question?
When and where did you find 2B2T?
Oh, that was fun. I joined, 2020 now, 7 years ago? 2013, probably 2012, 2011. I can't remember. I always try and give everybody an answer kind of like when I joined, but it must have been kind of 2011, maybe 2012. But I was on 4chan one day, and I was on B, and I saw I could almost picture the advertisement. It was either the Minecraft logo or 2B2T spawn as a photo, and it just listed the IP, kind of gave a short description, and I was like, anarchy. The admin wants you to fuck around and there are no rules. Cool, sign me up. Joined, and spawn was not as desolate at that point. It was back kind of peaceful. It was still a nightscape to get through, right? So I think I joined during one of the incursions. I think I got out because somebody actually geared me, as some of us came up with in that. I think I quickly joined a group, but it all started one night at 4chan in middle school.
Yeah, and Drew, what about you?
Yo, pretty much the same thing as Monoxide. I saw an advertisement in 2012 for a very different type of Minecraft server. I decided to join, and man, I fell in love ever since.
Yep, that really just do be how it is with a lot of players from that time period, whether it be 4chan. I know a lot of people from Face Punch too. It's kind of a mixed bag. So that kind of leads into my next question. What was the culture like initially on 2B2T? You guys can just kind of chime in whenever. But what was the culture like to you guys back then?
I'll do this one first. I'll field this one. I when I joined, it was very much kind of the shitposting culture that we have now, but it was more aggressive because a famous player, Pop Bob, like to habitat spawn and spawn kill you every time you spawn. And I got real good at logging out and waiting about 15 minutes to see if he was still on his rampage. But I think it was a lot less toxic than it was now because we all kind of just hurled insults at ourselves, or sorry, each other. And those insults kind of gradually became more sharp, and you tried your damnedest to hit your opponent. But
Is this like a callback to you and Clyde and like Tristan?
Yes, but I'm not trying to get into that.
Saving that topic for later. We're saving that topic for later.
I'm not
I got
trying
you.
to get into that at all.
Oh, come on.
Damn, dude.
Like,
We want to hear the lore, Mona. That's like the best part.
We'll walk around it for now, and maybe by the end of the interview, everybody will be
I
lightened
agree
up.
with that. Maybe if I'm feeling up to it.
All right,
You
so,
will, don't worry. We'll get you there.
Anybody else have any opinions on what the culture was like back then?
Honestly, I kind of felt the same way when Mona first started. Like, yeah, everyone was just
We had our
kind of like
mouths
shit
between each other.
posting, kind of fucking around, but at the same time, I felt like communities weren't so fucking stupid like they are now. It's like every group, everyone is out to get each other inside everyone. Back then, it was just everyone was like friends with each other, even if they like fucked around and like insulted each other. And everything was much more relaxed back then. Sure, it sucked being spawn camped, especially when like Pop Bob would place lava at the one spawn point because Horse Mustard is a fucking idiot and decided to do that for like a whole month. But it was still pretty fun. It is very different to what it is today. It just seems like some esports retards took this shit over and just kind of like ruined it. Back then, it was just
that's exact. I have to agree with you very much on that, because if you look around now, like each of these like friend groups has a name. They all have a name. They all, and I wouldn't even call them friend groups because they're not friends. They'll inside anybody.
not.
You know.
I mean,
They're loot collections.
they might
It's
be
really
people
more of just
there.
a group, people trying to find where they can land.
exactly. They're trying to make a name for themselves at any
It's not about
cost.
having fun. It's about making a name, and it bothers me
Like-
quite a lot.
Exactly.
Step in
If
for a second.
they can't make like a Wikipedia page because they get deleted immediately, so they try to resort to this bullshit. Like, remember when they started doing that for like 2 years straight, and then like Henry and Jetting eventually just like deleted that shit? That was amazing.
Yeah, Henry and I actually went and took over the wiki about 6 months ago with some other people, cleaned it up, and we still delete this bullshit. There's so much of it.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you about, Joey. You and Henry have been working to revise the 2B2T Wiki lately. How has that been going?
It's been going great. I mean, we've picked up quite a lot of people. There's, can I give shout outs? I mean, there's been quite a few people, but especially Henry and I, Galvatron, RPB.
Actually, before you continue, can we get a link? Can you just like post a link so everyone can like take a look at the official one?
Obviously. Yeah, I definitely plan on dropping a link to the Discord, the 2B2T Wiki Discord, and the actual Wikia in the video. So if you want to go check those out, you can, and do some of your own investigative work on some sad losers who joined a block game 7 years ago.
Now the
Yeah,
thing
If
is,
that interests you.
Type some stuff up for him to toss in the low bar too, if you want to, Joey.
yeah. But if any of you guys, if you ever want to contribute, we'd love to have you. There's a lack of information from years ago, and a lot of the stuff we don't have people that can fact check it. Period. I mean, any help is very appreciated.
Yeah,
I mean, my memory of that time is very much gone. There's still some things that they occasionally come to me, and I chuckle to myself. But
I'm the same way, man. I mean, it was even less. But the timeline was much shorter for me, and I still had a bitch of a time
Like,
to even get
I
my own
can tell you
stuff
about the
down.
times I walked KKK and died 7 times, but I really wasn't there for anything monument. Like, monument? I don't know the word. Momentous, I guess?
Yeah, people need to remember that back then there's none of this fancy movement exploit BS. When we had to walk to KKK, you had to walk that
Oh
entire
my god.
thing
You had
at
to carry
regular
carrots, you had to
speed.
fucking
I still walk everywhere.
multiple pickaxes to clear obstructions. It was
I don't-
such a fucking
I
obstacle.
can never get the fucking elytras to work, so I still fly everywhere.
Yeah, I was in the same boat for so long. I was really cursed by being on pre-June because I was so used to just walking back and forth on the highways that when I was introduced to Elytrafly, this most recent version of it, it was like mind-blowing, even though it was supposedly slower than the old one. Like it was still just like such an improvement.
The
I
two
just miss
fastest,
the original
Fine, though.
speed hacks. The original
Yeah.
speed hacks were so good.
well, the most powerful speed hack, in my opinion, outside of literally boat flying underneath the nether, was probably FTL pigs. Faster than light pigs was literally the reason why the dig crew managed to get to the end of the freaking highway, because you could fit it in a 1x2 tunnel and just hit light speed on this pig in the nether. It was
it's
the most novel shit I had ever seen. It was amazing.
It's a complete game changer, yeah.
So, I had a story though, like with the Electrify. I remember actually flying, like, I remember when it was actually good. I wasn't here recently for the whatever.
Drew,
I love it. I wasn't gonna
in
say
your microphone
anything. I
right
wasn't
now?
gonna say anything, but I heard it the entire time.
What? Drew's chewing?
Drew's just like.
Yo, what
Yeah,
what
I
chips
turned
are
him
you
down.
eating though? I gotta know, what chips are you eating?
I'm gonna be honest. I hella got a rip kettle. The kettle brand chips.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, even better though, I found the mango ones. The mango salsa ones. Like, if you go find these in stores, I promise you, they are the best ones you've ever had.
I can't eat them or
Mango.
be around eating them because they give me a migraine.
Drew's chin is like a stamp, like some sort of like press in a factory or something.
We
It's just
gotta like,
slamming.
we gotta clear that fucking fake news bullshit, dude.
Dude, your
I
chin
will
is
literally
huge. Your
post a
chin is huge.
picture
Your chin is
of
huge.
me right now.
Drew Docs.
Hey, what were you saying, monaxide?
I was just casually mentioning that chips give me a migraine, so I had to turn them way down.
Oh yeah, Drew's chip addiction. Okay.
Yeah, it always has. I've always been sensitive as a sound, but that's not. I don't want to get too personal.
So
Before
I
we
wanna.
get to-
Oh well, yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, before we get too far away, the one thing people always like, oh, well, what's really changed? It's just still an anarchy server. One thing, you're mentioning all these people who are willing to inside everybody and all these named groups all over the place. Back in the day, the server was small enough that the vast majority of people either didn't screw with each other, like you were either friendly or neutral. You had to like really do something egregious in order to make people hate you, right? And
Yeah.
there wasn't this clout chasing and attempted relevance and all this other BS, and people were generally less hostile. I think that the insults and the kind of stuff that you would see in chat back then was magnitudes worse than it is right now. Like,
yeah, and to,
really inappropriate,
Yeah.
really inappropriate pictures. And at one point, someone may or may not have posted CP in the chat. Like, it was really bad back then. Shock,
It was terrible.
gore,
Rickroll
really
links
terrible
and
stuff. But
just for horse genitalia.
the people were generally nicer in terms of, like, you know, not blowing things up. Like, one thing that died the minute Russia showed up was there were a couple of unspoken rules, which one was you don't destroy signs, and two, you don't destroy nether infrastructure, and both of those rules are just out the window. They've been dead for years.
Doc,
So,
literally anyone relevant destroyed signs and any buildings. I do not know what you're talking about. I personally always destroyed signs. Like, if I saw your sign, that shit was fucking gone, dude. You are not claiming a name for yourself and trying to get away with that
If
bullshit.
it didn't have any of my friends on it, I destroyed it.
no, not
Exactly.
new signs, just like random stuff.
Like in the Nether,
Exactly.
If anybody made a sign that
History-
didn't have my friend's name on it, I destroyed it.
That history bullshit, like, no one cared until Russia joined. And then all of a sudden, these idiots are trying to preserve block game history like it actually matters.
It's just
Like, come on.
pixels.
Exactly.
I disagree with him completely. There were many people that I talked to that would not destroy signs on purpose.
It's because they
All
were
the way back in
cuckolds and they did not stick around for too long. Like, come on.
All right, Drew. You can have your opinion, and I'll have mine.
Yeah, yours is cringe though. Mine is the base correct one.
Based.
to branch off from what you were saying about, like, you know, the toxic community back then compared to now, it's like I feel like there were definitely certain people that did stuff back then and they were genuinely like disliked by most people and not trusted. But if you look at it now from the perspective of somebody new who's joining, they see those people as, oh wow, they grief this big base, or they put a rat into the server. Wow, that's really cool. I want to be like that. And then you get a large amount of people who are trying to emulate that kind of thinking, and then it just becomes normal. And it is so weird, because when I look back at it of how friendly and just together the community was, it's completely different.
Well, I mean, there wasn't a series of nobodies trying to dox each other and send pizzas to their mom's house constantly. So, I mean, like, it really depends on what your opinion was.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what people look back and see, and they see, wow, those people did all that. I want to be like that. And then it creates this like toxic role model thing where, if I do this, my name's gonna, be plastered everywhere on the server. And then you get like people like Armorsmith and couldn't really name who else off the top of my head. Just random nobodies who just like do cringe stuff.
Someone give me the lore behind Armorsmith.
Armorsmith's
I literally
a fucking asshole.
know. Like, who is that dude? Why do people keep mentioning his name? Like, I literally don't know who he is, but I keep hearing about him everywhere. Like, is he supposed to be important or something?
That's the point. He has so much of like daddy's money that he just like puts his name everywhere.
He built a bunch of lag machines a few years back and just shit posted in chat for a while, and he got all these kids to follow him then. And then he thinks he's relevant because he's friends with Big Man Tyrone. It's fucking hilarious.
Actually, that's one thing that never changed. People have been trying to fuck the server over, and it is hilarious. You look back, everyone, like, as I was saying earlier, when people have that one spawn point right at spawn, they would put lava in it, or camp it, or make sure you could not get out. Like, if you're a new player, you're pretty much screwed. People built scamps, so they would lag the server, crash the server, try to like take it down.
Hell, I tried to do that yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
TNT bomb. I mean,
people are still trying to do that, and it is hilarious. It is part of the server culture. Like, it's something that's never going to go away. People that complain about it are just idiots. But that's one thing that made 2B2T 2B2T. You could pretty much get away with anything.
And branching off from that about like some okay. I thought Zarvier was going to join for a second. He popped in. Branching off from that, some of the biggest autists, back then that were just like, griefers, people who were backdooring the server. Who were some of the biggest antagonists? That's the best word to use. Antagonists back then. In your opinion,
there were a lot of people.
Oh boy, Bran.
Definitely not Bran, but
he was to me for a little while.
Interesting.
Yeah, see, I never saw Bran as one either.
Papa was an antagonist for sure.
XOXP would always like try to find people and just immediately kill them.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
Which was funny.
Or are you talking about griefers or exploiters? Because they're two different things.
Just like, in bad seas in general,
Oh, okay.
I was speaking from experience with like spawn, like hunting and killing, I guess. But
yeah, Drew, I actually remember, you mentioned X0XP. I remember when he came and griefed our little Mesa base on 3B3T. That I don't know. You're probably not gonna remember this at all, but we were there with Caneslaw and Bran was there too, and
that was on 3B3T.
That
was on 2B2T.
It was on Tristan and Pyro's little temp map. But there was someone else there too that was like this like e-girl who played for like a day, and
because the Fox and who else was there?
The Fox and Sleepy Little Fox. It was two foxes.
That's it. Yes, I remember that, but I thought it was on 2B2T.
No, that was on 3B because I couldn't play 2B because it was so laggy. Like, that was right when I initially joined, and it was, like, unbearable to get out of spawn.
3G.
Yeah, I tried looking for the base, and I never found it, so that's probably why then. Because I was invited by Canes and Bran, I think. But that was a long time ago.
Yep,
after that, I got invited to the Fox's super far out base. And that was great.
I just thought of another name. Jared was definitely an antagonist, too.
Yeah, when I first joined, I remember him killing me a lot in spawn.
Yeah, dude, Jared was always hunting bases. It seemed like he was always moving. Like, he was always on the move in the Nether, and you can never kind of really pinpoint where he was because he would always throw you off at different coordinates.
Gotcha. So segueing off of that again, what were some of the most interesting characters just in general? You know, besides just the antagonist types, like what were some people that you guys remember specifically that maybe most people don't know about?
I definitely liked Eggs Are Cool and Layla 55. Like back in 2012, they would always help people. They would always build cool structures, join people, but most of all, like they would definitely help new players escape. Back when like spawn was super paused.
E to the G would go around gearing people, and then if he saw him again, he'd kill him. I don't know what happened to him. I heard he went kind of nuts and then left.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
I may be misremembering this guy's name, but I think maybe Baloney Pony was on 2B2T.
Oh, Baloney Pony was one of my closest friends on the server. I miss that dude.
That guy was cool. Oh.
Who was that autist that was running the sad green text bot? That was my favorite thing. I fucking loved that shit.
Oh, there's Build Smash.
Build Smash was like extremely autistic. Jesus
Build
Christ,
Smash
that dude.
for any the uninitiated was a kid who would literally, I didn't even know if it was a kid, but it was an account. It was a real person that would literally just get into chat and argue about religion. That's all it would do.
That's what I thought it was. I was wondering who that was. That I remember hearing about a priest who played 2B or some sort of like, I don't know if that's him, but.
I remember there was a fucking chapel built for Build Smash. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that dude was legitimately autistic, and I feel bad for him.
I used to play on the Logic Quickscope account, which is what I joined on, and I would spend hours in chat arguing with him for fun, just because there was nothing else to do at the moment. His favorite argumentation was that Hitler was an atheist. He would spam that pretty much every day, 24/7 in chat, if no one was actively engaging with him. He got banned, not off 2B2T, but there's this plugin. I don't know if it's still a thing or not. I think it was called like Band Together or something. All the big servers used it. It was like a global ban list. He was one of the first people ever added to it, because apparently he didn't just do this in 2B2T. He would go around other podcasts and just proselytize, but he'd get immediately yeeted by their rules. So 2B2T was the only place he could consistently just go and annoy people. And I think he was around for a couple years, and then just he stopped logging in after a while. But no, he was fun.
Great.
Do you guys ever wonder that, you know, the reason someone stops logging in completely is because they like actually died?
Yeah, I've had that a few times.
Do we have
who's that dude that actually died? I'm pretty sure one dude committed suicide, and he was friends with like Saito. I forget his name. Fuck.
Sideline for a second. Welcome CaptainRajah to the pre-June 2v2t sexy time party. Welcome.
Hey, RPB.
Ooh, his name was O'Malley Mix. That's what his name was.
O'Malley.
Oh, wow,
I
he did?
remember that name.
Really?
Fuck.
He bit the
Back
bullet?
in like 2013 or something. I forget the details.
Oh, dude, I miss that person. Fuck.
I just remember he simped super hard for Saito. I do not know why. I don't even know if he found out that Saito was actually a girl or not.
There was always a joke that Lacey wasn't a girl.
True.
Monaxide, do you want to talk about the tiny chats and Russell when he left for fucking rehab?
That's what I was just about to lead into.
How to go about this? Let's go with a little backstory first. So, 2B2T had a video chat system through TinyChat, and we had two rooms: 2B2T Sexy Time and 2B2T 40 ounce time. Coincidentally, Sexy Time's still up. You can actually look at it. It shows the logo that we had, and nobody uses it. There's no logs or anything from it. I'm not sure, but it's still there.
That's a calling, guys. You should revitalize it. We need to reboot 2B2T Sexy Time for the next generation.
It's never gonna be the same though, so they won't know kind of how it operated. So we had people on there, and it would just get into some really deep, sometimes philosophical shit, middle of the night. And I think when Russell was pounding 40 ounces, I'm pretty sure that's how that got that name. He told us he was going to rehab, and recently I actually got in contact with him.
Yeah, so Russell was one of the guys who tent-poled the KKK. And one day when I logged in, there was a chest in the middle of the room with a book. And to this day, I kick myself for not taking a copy of it and keeping it. That basically said, hey, so I'm in therapy, I'm going to rehab, and they think that 2B2T and other video games are detrimental to my addiction recovery, and I'm not coming back. Bye. And that was it. He's just gone. Which was
I didn't know that part of it.
And I know that Housemaster made appearances in the tiny chat at least once, correct?
He did,
I
yes.
believe he had a Nazi flag on his wall and he wore a mask.
I think there was also a hat.
A fedora. I think he wore a fedora. Fedora or a trilby, whatever.
Same thing.
I'm surprised none of that has gotten around.
Dude, I'm surprised.
Jooms has shared a picture of him. He unfortunately made a map of his image on Cumstain. So there is actually an official image still around.
You heard that first,
Wow.
folks. Go play Constantium to find out what Housemaster looks like.
Ooh.
Find out in the next episode.
Or don't, because it's probably an IP logger and he's probably selling you information. But
Exactly. Yeah, James pretty much logs your info and sells it to China.
It's a risk that you might have to take.
But how we
But
know
you
House
shouldn't,
is doing
so.
the same fucking thing.
You should
And
just,
that
you should just
transitions
buy
to our
priority,
sponsor,
honestly.
NordVPN. No, sorry.
But that helps me segue into the next one, actually, about communication. How different was communication back then before Discord?
Everyone used Skype, and I fucking loved it. We would get groups of 20 or 30 close members, and just literally shitpost meme all day. Hey, we're gonna build a space too.
We had a Mumble.
I never used the Mumble. It was always TinyChat or Skype.
Pretty sure that's where I started talking to Russell first, and then we moved on to Skype.
I think the biggest guy
Interesting.
had 40 plus people in it.
Yeah,
That one wasn't
yeah,
really
40
for
plus.
coordinating though. That was really just people just. It was like an extension of chat. Really, people just shit posted there.
Well, we
I
would
think-
also share builds and stuff.
The last big Skype group was definitely KGB, and pretty much if you were relevant in 2013, 2014, you were in that group, and it was just full of some of the craziest builders, some of who
Absolutely.
are unfortunately not around anymore. But man, Skype was great, and everyone would just communication was really awesome. People posting their builds, what they're going to build next, their schematic, not really schematicas, but kind of
Pictures.
yeah, this is what I built in single player, and I intend to build almost the same exact thing here without using some shitty fucking client auto build shit.
And leading off of that, I actually remember, what was it, KGB or what? It was a replication of, I believe, India's very Taj Mahal, the Taj to Autism.
Yeah, I don't think that was at KGB or KL. That was definitely another base, but I think I know what you're talking about. It's like a 2014 build.
Yeah, it was either 14 or 15 because I thought it was a KGB or KL because it was by a beach area, kind of when you go down a hill, and it was just a huge thing. I think Zarf built it. Wow, words don't work.
Yeah, and
I would
since-
imagine there's probably a decent amount of unfound stuff as a
Oh, for
result of
sure.
people leaving, not
Definitely.
necessarily it not being people moving on. Generally, if there's something that's built by a group of people and they leave it behind and start building something else, eventually all of the stuff that they've built will be found if they're inside it. But if there's a big base that is a group of people and most of them leave, it doesn't tend to ever get signal boosted, so it's just still out there somewhere.
It's a good insurance policy.
Yeah. How to protect your base? Quit. You heard it here first.
Yeah, and speaking of bases, I'm sure each of you in here have been, in a good amount of bases, and I've talked to you about it before, so I kind of want to go straight to monaxide first to lead into it. Monaxide, what were some important bases that you have been at, and then I'll swing back around to you other guys.
Uh-oh, monaxide.
Rep.
Shit.
Oh, rip.
Monaxide
Experiencing
is dead.
technical difficulties.
We'll be right back.
All right,
Okay,
I'm
well,
enjoying
yeah,
it first, though.
we'll sideline for Joey and Doc until Monaxide can come back.
You want to go first, Doc, or you want me, or whatever?
I guess I'll go.
All right,
I mean, obviously, the first base that I got invited to, because I normally kind of just nomaded by myself, was Triple K Mafia, Ku Klux Klan Cool Kids Club. Where I think it was either Russell or I can't remember, Clyde. They essentially just went out what they thought would be an unreasonably far distance, and were like, "All right, we're gonna build here." It was incredibly crappy terrain. The base always looked like ass. The only thing that was really of note about it was, in that particular version of Minecraft, you could use a combination of water and lava and a string to like print obsidian, rather than
I
putting
remember
on top of
that.
a source block. And then Silver Crown King used his maximum autism to then mine that up and make the the name I know for it is the Fagtron 9000 is what the working nickname was for it. But it was that giant gold farm that people always hear about that we used to make apples with. Other than that, it was pretty crappy, and it almost wasn't really a group base because everybody was in different time zones. So you didn't really bump into people super often. So it kind of felt like you were just building where other people were, not necessarily building with people. If you want to call the Dig Project a group base of Dory and Nemo, that's something else that I was at. That's well enough documented, doesn't need to be rehashed here. And then after
Can you guys hear me now?
yeah,
Nice.
after Moo fell, that big base, you can find information on it on Reddit. You can probably put something in the low bar for anybody who doesn't know about it. A couple people regrouped into making a new Moo base, which I was invited to, but I decided to kind of go off and do my own project. So I'm probably mostly known for being at KKK and Diggers.
Yeah, and what was that like, being in that atmosphere around those people at a base like that?
Well, I mean, Diggers was amazing. Like, there was virtually no toxicity there at all. It was just a bunch of people memeing around in Discord and making Excel sheets about how much better they are at digging netherrack than everyone else in the Discord. And then there's just like there's a huge amount of elation when the world border was hit. Like, that was just a really great moment. I couldn't participate live, unfortunately. I think I was like 300,000 blocks behind because I left 15 million after everybody else did, and pretty much had to play catch up. And then after Nemo got destroyed, Dory was a thing. I didn't build a whole lot at Dory because I had a lot of IRL crap going on. And then when it got blown up out of spite, we decided to head for the corner. So, like, that was way more of a community experience and, like, a positive thing than what I had at KKK. Because KKK wasn't necessarily toxic. It just really, like I said, there wasn't a lot of interaction. It was more just a bunch of guys in one spot kind of doing their own thing for a while.
Yeah, and Joe, what about you?
So I was at a pretty long string of small bases, just various small group ones. Really, the first important one was Block Game Mecca. I got brought there. I was good friends with Slapping Bad Kids. Most people know him as Autism Bot these days, but I know him as Slappin'. That's the account he was using when I met him.
Miss Slappin'.
Good old Slappin'. So he brought me to that base group, and I built there for 14 months about. I was in one of the first, I was in the first wave of people, but I just couldn't be asked to get out there, walking and all, because speed hacks had been patched. They ended up bed TPing me out there, though, so that was pretty great.
Good old bed TP.
Dude, bed TP's fucking cash.
The lands, that was a fun transpo.
But so I built there for quite a while. Excuse me. I built my my brick biome there. I had my little village. Just various builds and whatnot. it was a pretty nice base. You know, I had a lot of fun there. Really not too much to be said about that. I'm sure it's been done to death. But, you know, the point is, it was a good spot. After that, the group kind of just, we all went our separate ways for a while. And I left, came back a couple months ago, and I've been building just a string of bases with my group. And some of them have been pretty nice. It's been a nice process, really.
Yeah,
But
what
no,
are some
most
of
of my
the
base-
what are some of the current bases you're working on right now? If you can say anything.
There's really not much I can say. There's more information out about them than I'm comfortable with, so that's gonna have to sit.
I gotcha. Monaxide, what about you now that you're back to
So can you repeat the original question? Whatever.
Oh
that might
yes,
have been?
yes. So what were some of the bases that you were at along your lineage on 2B?
Oh, now you gotta make me think. Please bear with me. I remember I was definitely at King's Landing. I was definitely at KGB. I don't know if I could talk about a couple of them, but I helped with a couple of projects to move stuff. I was part of a dupe base effort. I actually helped dupe at spawn in 2013, whatever. I think 1.7. I think it was a portal dupe. I helped at spawn in a little castle that they set up, and I was basically a dupe, for the lack of a better word, dupe slave. But I was never actually part of anything that's been progressing through time. It was all one-off bases, I think.
Was it Hopper minecart dupe where you pushed it through the portal, or was it something
Yeah.
else? Yeah,
Where
it
you
was.
had to have two people.
God, that one was terrible.
Also,
It
do you
was
remember the
the
chest
slowest
one where
dupe.
you didn't even need two people? You just had to free cam into the chest. And you could do
Yes.
as much as you want. That was my favorite one. That was my favorite one. It was so easy. Oh my god. I missed that because I was duping. Oh, was that pre-shulker? I think that was pre-shulker.
Yes, it was the first minecart Hopper dupe was pre-shulker, as was the one you're talking about.
Yeah. So
Then the drop dupe happened, I think, post-shulker. Yes,
I think so.
do you guys remember 1.10, the dupe one where you had to have a client? I don't remember the exact procedure, but there was a client involved, and you would just dupe everything in your inventory. I think you would have to get kicked by a malformed packet, but
1111, yeah.
That was probably similar to the drop dupe. Right?
yeah. But yeah, I've been alive on the server, so to speak, through multiple dupes, and that's also kind of when I played. When I played, there was also always like a coordinated effort going on. I think I came back from a brief hiatus into, I believe, the second incursion. Back when there was the Monument to Autism at spawn, the Obsidian platform.
Gotcha. So Monoxide, you have recently kind of come back into like the whole fray of 2B2T and stuff. What caused you to leave in the first place, or was there any specific instance, or was it just fading off and getting tired of playing?
Well, I joined, I want to say 8th grade. I played through high school. Once I got to college, I think I had to drop it. And when I got to college, it was 2015, 2017, because I dropped out between part of 2015 or 2016, came back beginning of 2017, I think. But what caused me to drop it was just classes were starting. But I unfortunately didn't take my brain into account, saying like I have to do homework. So for a while, I just didn't do homework. That's why I dropped out. But when I came back, I was like, okay, I actually need to stop playing this. I actually need to put an effort in, and I've been gone since, I want to say, I came back maybe like little brief periods of like 2 days between then, but I stopped, I think, middle of 2017, and now it's almost the end of 2020, and I don't know how long I'm going to be around, but I'll always be around as long as I have Discord.
Yeah,
If that makes any sense.
and Drew, you've been a little distant too, at least for a little patch there. What have you been up to?
Just the usual. I actually moved to Constantium for about 2 or 3 years. with a bunch of other people I was like really close with, that were part of KGB. Like after all the Rusher bullshit, we were just like done with all that mess. Like priority became like the new standard. You had to wait in like a 200-person queue. We weren't feeling it, so we were just like pretty much done with 2B2T altogether. Like keep in mind we left like 2B2T in general like a year or two before Rusher even joined. So it was on there, and eventually Constantium became the same exact bullshit. But for bases that I was a part of, pretty much what anything Sato made, pretty much every incursion up to like what the 6th or the 7th. Damn, dude, KGB KL, some of the biggest, best bases ever. Shout out to Kino and Bran, Silver. But yeah.
All right, and Raja, I don't want to get too deep into it because I would like to have you on again at some point to go a little more in depth. But I said depth, not depth. What were some bases that you were at kind of briefly when you were playing 2B2T?
Like the first year and a half I played the server, I just based with people I brought from other servers, so it was pretty quiet. After that, I got involved with Kyle Rayner, Ion. Yeah, based with him, Constantium, and a couple other places. Sage Matthias, I based with him there. Some other stuff I can't get into. That's really it. I mean, I quit the server for like 3 years, and now I'm back.
Nice.
I want to bring something up after him.
Oh, you can go ahead.
Oh, so I just thought to myself, I actually was playing. I had one of my thoughts where like it kind of came to me. I was playing up until Prio got removed, and after I think the invasion of Russia.
By
Like-
Prio, you mean old?
Priority queue, sorry.
Yeah, old.
You
mean old fag queue?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it.
Veteran queue.
I'm just talking about, pre-June queue, but yeah. I joined, I think, twice after that, but I never was able to get in again. So up until recently, I actually was given access. So I'm going to be able to play as long as that, goes up. I might actually start paying afterward, but I'll just see how far I get in the month that I'm on. This is going to be like my kind of activity test month.
Nice. So, 2B as a whole obviously has changed. We can all agree on that. But what are some of your hopes for the future of the server as time progresses? We can just go down the list. You can start with Joe.
Oh, put me on the spot here. Jeez. I really hope it dies down in popularity more. I've met some new people that I consider friends, but by and large, I despise most of the people I meet. There's no brains to them. There's no creativity. There's just the desire to make a name for oneself. And it bothers me because it's a fucking game, You're here to have fun, I don't care if you built a bigger thing than me. I'm just here doing what, I'm enjoying myself. So I really hope the numbers die down a lot, Hell, I fucking hope this server dies, to be honest. I mean, I just want to play some fun block game. I just play here because all my bros are here.
Monaxide, what about you?
So kind of like what Joey said, I don't know how many people remember, but 2B2T used to have a website.
Yes.
It had a crowdfunded effort to pay the server's rent every month, and it usually got there. And there's a promise that, if 2B2T ever dies, the house will host the files. But now that it's, upwards of 4 terabytes over the disks, I think that's the last time I read that I don't know how many people actually have that many hard drives to put it on. I kind of want it to die just to see that. I just want to see that. I want to have it die just to see that. But not for a long time. I think it has the potential to keep going. Even though that it's, been invaded. I really want, like he said, the player count to die down. Just because I personally want the 2v2t I know and love to come back. But I know that'll never happen. It's like waiting for an X to come back. But until we have that happen, I don't think it's gonna die down. I think it'll go on, but I really hope the player count levels out.
Drew, what about you?
Damn. Definitely, I want the server to die. I don't know if you know this about me, but I've been wanting the server to die for the longest time. Shit. That's pretty much it. The server is definitely not going to change. Hopefully soon it'll die in popularity, but like, how will pedophile Pete make his shekels anymore, you know? Like, they're not going to let the server die. It brings in way too much money to like just let it happen.
Yeah, they've commodified art and it brings in cash. You know, they ruined the nice thing with.
I mean, you ended up having stuff like the 2v2T museum, just like literal spazoids stealing people's world downloads just to host them and kind of like claim them as their own, pretty much.
Oh yeah, Tubi's a huge money pit at this point. Even stuff outside of it, like you were saying, the museum and like clients and all that sort of stuff that's tailored specifically to 2v2T. It's like trying to branch off from that market and trying to dip their hand in the money pit.
Exactly. I mean, for the most part, like, we actually have players that are joining, staying, that have like an IQ higher than what, 40? Like, they're on the bell curve, right? Like, these people are finally learning how to like build nice things. Like, they actually stick around and actually contribute more to the server than just like looking to make a name for themselves. Hopefully that becomes like the new meta again, kind of like the old 2v2T, where yeah, everyone's just kind of friendly with each other, no one's trying to fuck around because everyone knows each other at this point.
Gotcha.
Hopefully we'll get there.
Doc, what do you think about future 2v2T?
I mean, my crystal ball is cloudy when it comes to what's going to happen to this place. I feel like part of the I'm not necessarily pissed off about the popularity or all the people joining. It doesn't really necessarily bother me that much because I tend to fuck off by myself and build things in the millions. But part of the problem is obviously the queue, right? And that's more of, sure, it's related to popularity, but it's manufactured scarcity is the result of Mojang not giving a crap about big servers or wanting to fix their own game. So if 2v2T is going to die, there's only two things that are going to kill it. Well, three. Either Housemaster gives up, which is highly unlikely. The server becomes unprofitable for some reason before the population dies down, so it becomes, unsustainable. Or, Minecraft literally dies and the authentication servers go offline. Other than that, I think it has enough mass that it's self-sustaining at this point. I don't think there's ever going to be a scenario where it just, disappears one day.
Yeah.
My best hope for it at this point, honestly, is that as people who joined as part of Russia get older and hopefully at least slightly mature, some of the, toxic BS that comes over from faction servers, whittles its way out of the community, but who knows if that'll ever happen. So I don't think there's a bright future ahead. Let's put it that way.
Well, I absolutely agree with you, and as much as I would like to continue this interview with everybody, because I feel like there's still a lot of stuff to talk about, I would love to cap it here and possibly do a follow-up at some point when more people are online. That'd be great. But I think we hit a lot of really important bases. I liked having a lot more people in here because it wasn't just me and one other person, because I definitely have a lot of trouble holding a conversation with somebody unless they're really good at articulating their thoughts.
I like everyone else's inputs because when you just interview one person, right? Like, you get me, you get Mona, like from a different time, a different.
See, that's why I really appreciate the Spartan and Kino interview I did. It had multiple people. Even if it is just like one more person, it's more points of view that are different from different places on the server, from different times. It's really a lot more complex. So I definitely want to do more of these types of things in the future. But thank you all for being on. Yeah, Jared Bear's been sitting here on mute for a while. He's kind of mad at me.
The quiet man.
Jared.
All I heard was a distorted mumble, so I'm going to take that as a I love you, B. So that'll be all for the DrEnderPickles show tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night.